Well, thanks for visiting us this morning at Arklatex I'm meteorologist Josh Marces with your Tuesday morning forecast update. And here we go again. A few of us had a couple-day break from the rainfall here, but unfortunately the rain making its way back into the region, which is the last thing that we need at this point. But the rain that's out there this morning, fairly light, but we are expecting an uptick as far as the coverage and maybe the intensity of the rainfall by later this morning, and especially through the early afternoon today. But what's out there this morning, just kind of wetting the roadways, but at least in the short term, not likely to cause any issues. So again, we have these areas of low pressure that will continue to just scoot over the Arklatex in the upcoming days. So the rain chances staying fairly high through the weekend and at least into early next week. We're in the warm sector here. You can see the warm fronts up towards the Little Rock area. So with that warm air moving in off the Gulf of Mexico, pretty mild again this morning. We've enjoyed some cooler mornings for the past 3 to 4 days, but the warm and humid mornings back with us as well, as we are in the upper 60s as well as the low 70s, and you can see your daytime highs a little bit later today, winding up in the upper 70s and low 80s. We may not get there until some of the rain scoots through this afternoon, but just given that we do have the warm air available to us today, have some pretty strong updrafts with the storms. Of course, you get the strong updrafts, the air goes up into the colder layers, cools down, and then kind of falls back down to earth here. So again, as those thunderstorms kind of rain out, we could get some strong wind gusts. So again, potential here that we do see maybe some high wind gusts today, and again, that would be today and likely into early tomorrow morning. But I think if we saw any severe weather, it would be middle of the day. I'll have to change the headline there, but that severe weather outlook is definitely what we're expecting today. It's just a marginal risk. So again, 1 to 2 severe storms possible, but no widespread severe weather is expected at this point. So look at the HRRR model. This is the one that does update every hour, and it's had probably the best handle on how the days will play out over the last few weeks here. It is showing a little bit of an uptick in the rain, especially this morning. And you see some of these thunderstorms where you see the darker purples. That would indicate some of the heavier rainfall. It would be these storms here, likely in the early afternoon, that we would have to watch for that severe weather potential. But notice the rain today. It looks like it may push through fairly quickly, so we'll still have some scattered storms out there this afternoon, this evening, but it looks like the worst of it probably coming through kind of middle of the day here, and we'll likely see just a few pockets of rain hold together tonight, and we'll just kind of repeat this weather pattern each day through the weekend. So again, the latest run of Futurecast here is continuing to show some 1 to 2 inch accumulations across much of the region. We know there will probably be some isolated spots in here that do pick up maybe 3 to 4 inches of rain, if not some isolated higher amounts. But again, the intensity of the rainfall a little bit less than the past few weeks here, as these storms should be moving through a little bit quicker, but the ground's still completely saturated at this point, so it's not going to cause much as we continue through the week to cause some roadway flooding issues. And of course, the lakes and rivers continue to run very high as well. 7-day forecast, you can see the fairly high rain chances there through the remainder of the week, and I'll show you the lake levels while I have you here. Caddo Lake basically in minor flood at 172 feet, and you see Lake Bistineau also in action stage here. And notice here the levels drop off very slowly, and one thing I'll point out as we flip over to the river forecast is that the forecasts only call into amounts going out about 24 hours, so it doesn't take into account the rain that will fall later this week and into the weekend. So I'd expect these levels will probably stay fairly high and maybe even go up a little bit. There's Red River at Shreveport, which is basically a foot below flood stage at this point. And again, as we continue down the Red River towards DeKalb, of course, we were in flood stage this weekend. The river has come back down, but you can see the forecast rainfall amounts push it back up. And then some of the other areas here, Coshada basically close to action stage in the upcoming days, which is indicating maybe some low-level flooding and approaching flood zone there. And then Red River at Grand Ecore in Natchitoches is going to be very close to minor flood stage as well, and I'd expect these river and lake levels will stay high through the week. Of course, you can always check those latest lake and river forecasts here at the weather app, as well as arklatexhomepage.com.